Hi Team Rerun, Physio Megan here. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about injury prevention. So this is off the back of a question I got about seeing if I could give more videos on common running injuries, preventions and rehab. Now prevention I always find a bit of a trigger word especially when we're athletic and we're doing sport regularly, because there isn't really a true way of completely eradicating all injuries. However, we can try and reduce that risk as much as possible. So I was introduced to a paper that is called The Effectiveness of an 18-week General Strength and Foam Rolling Intervention on Running Related Injuries in Recreational Running. And I think this gives a really good sort of general perspective on how strength training can really support our running and reducing our risk of running related injuries. So this was an 18-week study, and they got 433 recreational runners who the mean age was 39. So I think it ranged from 21 to 55. So the mean age was 39. And they gave some of them a general strength program with foam rolling, and others they just let them sort of crack on with their normal routine, whatever that may be. After 18 weeks, they gathered how many running related injuries were reported, and this number was 100. And then they found that those runners who had high compliance to the strength training were 83% less likely to sustain an injury compared to those who were in the intermediate or the low compliance categories. So by high compliance, this meant that they completed at least 90% of the strength training sessions over the 18 weeks. Anything less than that and your risk of injury significantly increased. So by completing 90% of the strength sessions over the 18 weeks, there were still injuries sustained, but they felt that those people in the high compliance group, they had 57 days longer before they sustained an injury compared to the intermediate or the low compliance group. Now, the strength training that they did was pretty general. I wrote down. So they trained their abductors, their quads. They did some single leg squat work, some forward lunges, side step with resistance bands. And they accumulated the time of this strength training to be 19 minutes. So 19 minutes twice a week. And they were 83% less likely to sustain a running related injury. So I think that's just a note on, if you are running regularly and you don't have a strength training element to your running program, then actually something as simple as just doing 2 20-minute sessions twice a week could significantly reduce your injury rates going forward. Obviously, there are other things associated with running related injuries as well, but I just think that it really highlights that compliance to strength training, which can be a little bit ropey in runners, because runners like to run, they don't like to strength train. But actually, it's just a general program. It really doesn't take that long to do. And it can significantly reduce your risk of injuries going forward. So I thought it was a great paper to share with you. If you've got any questions on that, then obviously pop a comment below and I'll do my best to answer them. But I think one of my number one top tips for reducing the risk of injuries in runners is to have a high compliance to a good general strength program. Other than that, guys, happy running!